Last class, we started loop, and when we execute this is going to display 4 to 9. 4 to 9. So I gave us an assignment that you should run one that will display from 9 to 4, like that will run in the opposite direction. So let's do that together. So if you are doing that, we need to start from 9 then to 8. So what we are going to do is that we say I equals to 9. The reason we are doing this is, if I equals to 9, next is it must check this condition. If this condition is true, then it will run the codes here. So is I, which is 9, is it lesser than 10? Yes, 9 is lesser than 10. It will console log I, which is 9. I plus or 9 becomes I becomes 10. Is 10 lesser than 10? No, it will terminate the loop. That's not what we want. If you run this will only give us 9. This will only give us 9. So what we want to do is that we want to display 9, the next will be 8, the next will be 7. Sorry, someone wants to join the class. Yeah, welcome to class.
Alright, thank you, sir.
Yes. So next is instead of saying I lesser than 10, we can do something like this. I is lesser than so let's look at how this is going to work. I is 9. Is 9 greater than 3? Yes. It will console log I, which is 9. I equals to I minus 1. I becomes 8. Is 8 greater than 3? Yes. It will console log I, which is 8. I equals to I minus 1. I becomes 7. Is 7 greater than 3? Yes. It will console log I, which is 7. I equals to I minus 1. I becomes 6. Is 6 greater than 3? Yes. It will console log I, which is 6. I equals to I minus 1. I becomes 5. Is 5 greater than 3? Yes. It will console log I, which is 5. I equals to I minus 1 becomes 4. Is 4 greater than 3? Yes. It will console log I, which is 4. I equals to I minus 1 becomes 3. Is 3 greater than 3? No. So it will terminate the loop. So this is going to give us 9 to 4. Yes. Okay, I think it's at auto save, so I will close this and open it here. So with this now we have 9 to 4. Any question as regards this? So in answer of question, let's continue the class. So like I said in the last class, a loop is used to repeat things, but not just to repeat things. You can also make some little manipulations while repeating things. Now let's look at some of those things we can do with this loop. Instead of saying I equals to I minus 1, I can shorten this to I minus minus. I minus minus is the same thing as I equals to I minus 1. Then maybe I want to display 9753, like 9753. So what we can do is this. We can say I equals to I minus 2. Let's see why this will work. I is 9. Is 9 greater than 3? Yes. It will console log I, which is 9. I equals to I minus 2. That means I equals to 9 minus 2. I becomes 7. Is 7 greater than 3? Yes. It will console log I, which is 7. I equals to I minus 2. 7 minus 2, that becomes 5. Then is 5 greater than 3? Yes. It will console log I, which is 5. I equals to I minus 2. I becomes 3. Is 3 greater than 3? No, that will stop the loop. So this is going to give us 975. but I want 9753, so let's do it like this. So this is going to give us 9753. Any questions so far? Okay, so I want to look at two keywords today, break and continue. So we're going to look at break first. If time permits us, we look at continue, but if not, we'll stop at break. When JavaScript sees the break keyword, what it does is that it terminates the loop. I come again. As soon as JavaScript sees the break keyword inside a loop, instantly it stops looping. It terminates the loop. So let's look at something together. Come here. Equals to 0. Let's say 10. Okay. Console log hi. I plus plus. Console log hello. So what I'll just do is that I'll put break here. Let's see that's not what happens now. I is 0. Is 0 lesser than 10? Yes. That means it's going to enter this loop. It's a console log I, which is 0. Immediately it sees this break, instantly it will stop looping. The loop stops immediately. So that means when we check, we only see 0, nothing else. Break means terminate the loop. Stop this. Is misbehaved because is at autosave. So okay, so we only see 0. Any questions so far? Do we understand what I've explained so far? Everything I've explained. Are you still with me? Can you hear me?
Sorry, sir.
Okay, sir. I
On
can.
the break. Sorry, sir. I didn't get you clear on the break.
Okay, I said. Alright. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. So let me quickly recap. I said whenever JavaScript sees this word break means stop the loop. It stops looping immediately. As soon as it sees this word break, it's not going to do anything again within that loop. So if you run this code, you know it will first run this I is 0. Is 0 lesser than 10? Yes. It will console log I, which is 0. Immediately it sees this break, it will stop the loop. It's not going to do anything again within that loop. Do you get it now?
Okay, clear.
Alright. So let's take it a step further. Still on break. You can say if I is equal to, let's say 2, break. If I run this code, let's make, I can remove this. So if I run this code, what do you think I'll say? Let me first ask us. Based on the explanation I gave, if I run this code, what do you think I'll say? Please, are you with me?
Come again.
If I run this code, what do you think I'll see?
I believe it will skip 2 while it will run other options that are lesser than 10.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Who else can help us? Okay, let's look at it together. I is 0. Is 0 lesser than 10? Yes.
So that it will be okay.
Okay, you can proceed.
It will be number lesser than 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very close, very close. Very close. Thank you, sir. Let's look at it together. I is 0. Is 0 lesser than 10? Yes. It will enter this place. The first thing here is console log I, which is 0. It will log 0 to the console. Next is, it will check this condition. Is I equals to 2? Is 0 equals to 2? No, right? Since 0 is not equals to 2, that means it won't enter this block. It will do I plus plus, I becomes 1. It's going to check again. Is 1 lesser than 10? Yes. It will enter this loop. It will console log I, which is 1. It will check this condition. Is 1 equals to 2? No. That means it won't enter this if block. I plus plus, I becomes 2. Is 2 lesser than 10? Yes. It will console log I, which is 2. Is I equals to 2? Yes, 2 is equals to 2. That means it will enter this if block. Immediately it sees this break, instantly it will terminate the loop. Instantly. So it's going to stop the loop. It's not going to do anything again inside the loop. The reason we can use this break here is because we are within a loop. If you have ordinary if statement and you try to use break inside it, it's going to turn an error. So the reason we can use this break is because we are within a loop. So instantly, immediately you see this break, it will terminate the loop. So when we check the console, we only see 0, 1, and 2. Do we understand it? Do we get it? Any question on break? Do we understand?
The network is breaking, but I can't hear you virtually.
Okay. Sorry for the network issues. Okay.
Thank you.
Please, can you all hear me? Do you understand what I just explained? Okay, alright, thank you so much. Thank you. So let's move on. So that is how to use break. Now, you see this I plus plus here. We only put it here for the sake of, should I say convenience now? For the sake of ease of understanding. This I plus plus. We can put it down here or up here. So what I will do is that I will take it away from this place and I'll put it up here. And we'll discuss why as we move on. You see, whether it is down here or it is up here, it will work the same way. If you put the I plus plus here, it will work as though it is the last thing here. That means I will remove all of this for now so that we can just focus on this I plus plus location. Let's see how this is going to work ordinarily. I is 0. Is 0 less than 10? Yes. It will enter this place. It will console log I. That is 0. I plus plus, I becomes 1. Sorry, someone is about to join the class. I welcome you to today's class. I plus plus, I becomes 1. Is 1 lesser than 10? Yes. It will console log I. That is 1. I plus plus, I becomes 2. Is I lesser than 10? Is 2 lesser than 10? Yes. It will console log I, which is 2. I plus I becomes 3. So on and on like that. Right. So if you take it away from this place and we put it right up here, it will work exactly the same way. It will work as though it is the last thing here. So the way it's going to work is that it will do I equals to 0. Is 0 lesser than 10? Yes. It will first run the quotes here within this place. When it is done, then it will come up here to do the I plus plus. I come again. It will first do this, then do this, then run the quotes here. When it is done, that's when it will come here to do this. So let's look at it together. I is 0. Is 0 lesser than 10? Yes. It's the first one the quotes here, which is console log I, which is 0. Then it will come up here. I plus plus I becomes 1. Is 1 lesser than 10? Yes. It will run the quotes here again. Console log I, which is 1. Then I plus I becomes 2. Is 2 lesser than 10? Yes. It will run the quotes here. Console log I, which is 2. I plus plus I becomes 3. It's still lesser than 10. On and on like that. So although it is here, it's going to be working as though it is the last thing. Yeah, I hope we get the explanation. Do you get the explanation? Now, the reason I'm making this explanation is because of the next thing we're about to consider, which is continue. We've looked at break. Let's look at continue. Now, when JavaScript sees this word continue, what it does is that you notice the word continue, instantly it skips everything from that continue to the end of the loop. Now, this is how a loop works. It will first do this. It will check this condition. If this condition is true, it will enter this place. It will run this. Let's comment this for now. It will run this. It will run this. When it gets to the end of the loop, I come again. When it gets to the end of the loop, that's when it will come back up here. Do this again. Do this. Do this. When it gets to the end of the loop, it comes back up here. Right. But what continue does is that immediately JavaScript sees this word continue, instantly it skips everything from that spot to the end of the loop. It's not going to run anything after continue. That is, it will skip this line, and if there are any other codes here, it's going to skip all of them. It will skip all the codes here, and it will jump back to the top. I come again. When it sees continue, it will skip this. It will skip all the codes from that spot to the end of the loop, and it will jump back to the top here. So let's look at the implication of these to our codes. If I run this code, it will first do this. I is 0. Is 0 less than 10? Yes. It will console log I, which is 0. It will see continue. Continue means skip. So it's going to skip everything from that spot to the end of the loop, meaning that it will skip this. It's not going to log good to the console. It will skip I++, meaning that I will still remain 0. It will skip all of this, and it will jump back to the top here. On jumping back to the top, remember our I is still 0. Is 0 less than 10? Yes. It will console log I, which is 0. Then it will still continue, meaning skip everything from here to the end of the loop. It will skip everything. It will jump back up here again. I is still 0. Is 0 less than 10? Yes. It will console log I, which is 0. Sorry, someone is about to join the class. You are welcome, sir. Okay. It will back to what I was saying. It will console log I, which is 0. It will see continue. Skip everything from here to the end of the loop. So with that, now we are going to go into eternal loop now. Like, it's going to keep looping. It's not going to stop. It will keep looping and looping and looping. So you will continue to see 0 in the console, and it will never stop. it will never stop. Any questions so far? Let me close this and run the cuts. That's why we see this 0 in the console. I'm trying to, because it keeps looping, that's why this is hanging. Okay, let's stop it. Disperse. Okay, it keeps looping. That's why you see this misbehaving. It keeps looping and looping and looping. It's not going to stop. Do we get the explanation? Please, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's the way this works. Now let's make the necessary adjustments to this code so that it's not going to keep looping. Like it won't keep looping forever. What you're going to do now is that, remember I said you can take this I++ away from this place and you place it up here, and it's going to work as though it's the last thing here. So by lifting it out of this place to the top here, that makes the difference. Let's see how it works now. I is 0. Is 0 less than 10? Yes, 0 is less than 10. It will run the codes here. It will console log I, which is 0. Then it will see continue. Remember I said that when it says continue, that means skip all the codes from there to the end of the loop. So it's going to skip this. Then it will jump to the top. So on jumping to the top, it will jump to this place. I++, I becomes 1. Is 1 lesser than 10? Yes, 1 is lesser than 10. Console log I, which is 1. Then it says continue again. That means skip everything. It jumps to the top. I++ I becomes 2. Is 2 lesser than 10? Yes. Console log I, which is 2. It will say continue, skip everything again, jump to the top. I++ becomes 3. Is 3 lesser than 10? Yes. So at the end of the day, you will see 0 to 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At no point will you see this text. It's not going to display this code on the screen at any point. You will only see 0 to 9. And that's because of this continue. Continue means skip. Let's disperse it and let's run it again. And that's why we have this 0 to 9 on the page. Now I have a question for us. So if I run this code, what do you think we're going to see? Sorry, one more time. Sorry. So if I run this code, what do you think you're going to see?
We'll see 0 to 9 excluding 2.
Exactly. Thank you so much. We'll see 0 to 9 excluding 2. So let's look at it together. Here's the explanation. I is 0. Is 0 less than 10? Yes. It will enter this place. Is I, which is 0, is it equals to 2? No. So this condition is not true. That means it won't enter this place. It will jump here. Console log I, which is 0. I++ I becomes 1. Is 1 lesser than 10? Yes. It will check this condition. Is 1, which is I, is it equals to 2? No. Meaning it will not do this. It will console log I, which is 1. I++ I becomes 2. Is 2 lesser than 10? Yes. It will come here. I is now 2. Is 2 equals to 2? Yes. That means it will enter this if block. Immediately sees this continue, it will skip all the codes from here to the end of the loop. So for that reason, it will skip this also. So it's going to skip everything here. It will jump back to the top. I plus plus I becomes 3. Sorry, someone is about to join the class. I welcome you to today's class. Okay. I plus plus I becomes 3. Is 3 lesser than 10? Yes. Is this condition true? No. It will console log I, which is 3. I plus I becomes 4. Is 4 lesser than 10? Yes. Is this condition true? No. It will console log I, which is 4. So at the end of the day, the only time it will see continue is when I is equal to 2. And that's when it will skip this console log I. So it's going to skip 2. We're going to see 0 to 9 except 2. Except 2. So we have 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is how break works. Continue works. That is how continue works in JavaScript or in general programming. Now, the last thing we're going to check out today is something we call modulo. Modulo stands for remainder after division. Remainder after division. So here is how this training will go. Currently I'm teaching us loop. In the next class I will teach us array. Then we're going to use the array with loop. I want us to understand loop very well. Then we move to array, then we now combine them together. So presently I want to teach us modulo so that I'll be able to give us an assignment as regards this loop. Modulo stands for remainder after division, and there is how it works. If I say the symbol for modulo in JavaScript is this percentage sign. If I say 6 modulo 3, please, what is 6 divided by 3?
2.
Thank you so much. Remainder what?
0.
0. Thank you so much. So 6 modulo 3 is 0. Remember I said remainder 0, right? We said remainder 0. So modulo is mainly concerned about the remainder. 6 divided by 3 is 2, remainder 0. So 6 modulo 3 is 0. Let's proceed. What is 6 divided by 4? Give us the whole number first.
1.
1. Thank you. Remainder
1. 2.
2. So 6 modulo 4 is 2. I hope you get it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's look at other examples.
Why remainder 2?
One remainder 2, yes. So our interest is in the remainder. Modulo deals with remainder. Thank you so much. Let's look at another one. What is 3 divided by 5? Now, 5 is bigger than 3. So obviously, 5 will not be able to cut 3. Like, it's not going to be able to divide 3 since it's bigger, right? So that means 5 divided by 3 will be 0. Remainder 3. Since we are unable to divide the 3, it means our 3 will still remain intact, right? So 3 modulo 5 is 3. When the numerator is bigger, when the numerator is smaller than the denominator, we have our numerator back as our answer. So let me now give us some questions to play with. What is 12 modulo 5? Please, are you there? Please, what is 12 modulo 5?
So remainder 2.
Good. So The answer is 2. Thank you so much. Now, how does this now affect our assignment? Here's the assignment I need you to do for me. So what you're going to do is that you take an input from your user. You tell users to enter a value. So let's assume the user entered 10. Let's go to the browser and check it. Let's put a div here. We put our result inside this div. So user will come here, enter a value, let's say 10. Immediately you click on this button. Click me. Immediately you click on this button, it's going to display all the odd numbers between 1 and whatever number you enter here. So since I entered 10, all the odd numbers between 1 and 10 will be displayed on the screen. That means it's going to display 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. If I put 20 here, it's going to, and I click on this button, it's going to display 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19. If I put, let's say, 11 here, it's going to display 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and it's stop there. So it's going to display all the numbers between 1 and the number you put here. It's not going to include the number itself. All the odd numbers between 1 and whatever number you put here. I hope you understand it. Do we get the assignment?
Repeat it again. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay, sir. Here is the assignment. Users will come here, enter a value here, whatever number, any number of the user's choice. Let's say 30. Then the user will click on this button. Notice that the user does that. It's going to display all the odd numbers between 1 and whatever number the user entered here. So in this case, all the odd numbers between 1 and 30, that is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29. So all the odd numbers between 1 and whatever number the user entered in. Do we get it? Hello? Do you get it? Hello? Do we get the assignment? Do we get the task we are to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can also play with this. You can, instead of starting from 1, you can play with this. This can be starting point. Then this will be ending point. So I can say I want it to display all the odd numbers between 5 and 30. So it's going to start from 5, 7, 9, till it gets to 29. So I can say 1, start from 1 and it will stop at 29 in this case. So you can give it a starting point and ending point if you want to. Or you may also just supply the ending point alone, whichever way you want to do it. But give it a try, attempt this assignment, then we do it together in the next class. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Have a lovely night rest. Good to have us in class.